Hello, so after my last video about finding the golden ratio in Harry Styles, here I got a lot of requests to see if I could find it in Louis Tomlinson, another One Direction member. I am fulfilling that request and here we go, but before we start I'd like to give you a little bit more background into the history of the golden ratio, teach you a bit more math.
Nobody cares about the math part.
Okay, well I'm teaching. Okay, so the golden ratio is typically represented by the Greek letter phi, which I'm not too skilled at drawing, but it looks basically like this. And how we find the golden ratio, which is equal to this number, is by taking two numbers, x and y, where x is greater than y. And when we have x plus y over x, that's going to be equal to x over y. And that number is always going to be equal to approximately 1.618, and so on. And so that's pretty interesting. That's where this very aesthetically pleasing number comes from. Without further ado, let's get back to finding the ratio in Louis. Our first measurement, again, like we did for Harry, is from the crown of the head to the chin. I really struggled to find a photo of Louis where I'd be able to measure the crown of his head because his hair is very fluffy, and so it's very hard to find where the top of his head is. So I'm just gonna guess there is the crown of his head. So there is a margin for error here, let's just say. And give that a good old-fashioned measure. 19.1. And then the width of his face, just above his cheekbones, 11.6. Now if we take that division, 1.6465. Dividing that by our golden ratio. Wow, okay. 101.8%. Not bad. Okay, next up. We're going from our makeshift crown to his pupil, 10.1 centimeters. Now the pupil to the middle of his lips. I'd say that's 6.3, and that division is 1.60, okay. Divided by the ratio, okay. 99% here. 99%. I was actually not expecting this. Maggie, he's getting 99%.
Is that better than
He's doing
Harry?
better than Harry.
Oh!
Okay, nose tip to chin, 5.8 centimeters. Nose tip to chin, lips to chin, 3.9. Yeah, these numbers are looking good. Pupil to nose tip, 4.8. The nose tip to chin and the lips to chin ratio, 1.48. That's a 91% or 92%. Nose tip to chin and pupil to nose tip, 1.21, 75%. Now the width of his nose, 2.7. Nose tip to lips, 1.7. The length of his lips, top to bottom, 1.1 at the widest part. Width of the nose, divided by the nose tip to lips, 1.59, 98%. Width of nose divided by the length of the lips, 2.45, 152%. Wide range of numbers here. This is the part that I messed up on Harry, so we'll do it here, but if the numbers aren't great, then I won't include them because that won't be fair. So the outer distance between the eyes, 7.9. Hairline to pupil, say 6.2. That's 1.27. 78%, okay. 79%. Let's look at his stats. We've got a difference of 1.8%, a difference of 1%, 8%, 25%, 2%, 52%, 21%. Again, I averaged out the best three numbers for Harry, so doing that for Louis, we're gonna get a crazy number, 1.6. So that's a 98.4% match with his best three numbers, which are, like Harry, the crown to his chin and the width of the face, crown to his pupil and the pupil to his lips, and the width of the nose and the nose tip to the lips. But taking the grand average gives Louis an 84.17%. That's interesting. Whoops. My bad there. Okay, so that's pretty good. 84.17. Again, I read that most people get between a 40 to 60. There is a margin of error because I kind of guessed the crown of his head But yeah, he did well. Good job. Aesthetically pleasing face, as most of us knew.